In this video, I want to take you back in time. I want to take you back to the very first occurrence, the very first breakthrough in my business, where I realized that you did not need strategy sessions, those 45-minute calls that light up people's calendar like a Christmas tree, in order to sell high-ticket coaching, high-ticket consulting. Okay, I want to share the story of how it came to be, the results that I got on that first time. I want to talk to you about what that, as a catalyst, has led to these days. I want to dive into how this is possible, right? And dive into the model that we help our clients with in order to achieve this. I want to talk a little bit about what most people don't understand, the false assumption that most people are buying into because of the same rhetoric being pushed in the industry year after year after year. And then I want to give you some action steps, some action items that you can carry forward if this is something that you want to go and deploy in your coaching business. Okay, so with that all said, with that all out of the way, let's dive into it. All right, let me put you in the DeLorean, right, for the Back to the Future fans. Let's get up to 88 and let's go back to 2021. It was in the early part of the year. I was fresh off winning 2 Comma Club award, and that was really my gateway drug into figuring out, like, holy shit, if you've got something between your ears in terms of like a skill set, a knowledge base, an expertise, whatever it may be, if you've got something like that that can help other people achieve a result, overcome a problem, packaged up correctly, marketed and sold correctly, you are potentially sitting on a fucking gold mine. That was my gateway drug, was the program I ran that won the 2cc. All right. And after we did that, and I'd been hyper focused on that market for about 18 months, I wanted to take this newfound knowledge and this newfound skill set of being able to package up information and being able to package up knowledge and start helping other people with it. But this was kind of something I was, I'd done it for myself, but I was kind of fresh to this world, and I wanted to really experiment and develop a really wide skill set and see if there was, any kind of different ways to do it. Because one of the things that I'd done a lot back then was pounded the phones, like a lot of people, on strategy sessions. But then after a while, I got sick of that. And so we started moving a lot more towards DM closing, but we'd only done it up to like a couple of $1,000s. And that's pretty in line with what industry says. Most people in the industry will say, if it's above $2,000, maybe $3,000, you got to get people on the phone. Like, they just won't buy without a call. Obviously, if you've been following my channel for any length of time, we now know that that's not true, right? We've sold up to $50,000 coaching, consulting type packages without a sales call. Okay, so that is a fundamentally incorrect belief, incorrect assumption that most people in the market are making. And so through some mentorship and through breaking down my own kind of false beliefs and assumptions about how these things work, I launched a new offer. I launched a new offer that was called the 7-Figure Insiders Elite Coaching, and wrote up this document with the guidance of a mentor, and launched it. And it very quickly made $45,000 in 11 days. And it was just this absolute whirlwind experience. Not so much the money, because I'd made plenty of money online at that point. I mean, 45 grand in 11 days is great, but it was about how the money was made. This rush of just shy of 2 weeks and seeing these sales drop in, no phone call on this was a 5-6K offer, depending on payment options, no phone calls, no long conversation. It was like a magic trick. It was unbelievable. And so what I want to give you really, really quickly is a couple of pieces of homework to go away and take a look at if you want to go deeper on this. So I've got the document here, right? But rather than me rehash going through all this, there's a video on my channel from a little while ago. This doc made me 45K in 11 days, detailed walkthrough. You can see it's 20 minutes. Literally go through it line by line, right? I got another video on my channel. I wrote these 12 Facebook posts and made 45K in 11 days, right? 16 minutes. Go through all the Facebook posts, all right? Most people don't show you this shit. You can take this, go use it, please. Go make some money. We'll do some work together at some point. But I wanted to take you back to when this all really started. Okay, so I'll get the guys to link these 2 videos below so that you can check them out in your own time. And you'll see why the offer and the content are the key pieces to this. I'm going to explain that in a moment. All right. So this is really where it all begun. Now, fast forward 2.5 years down the line, we've sold millions with our clients this way. We've really pushed the limits. Like this was a 5K offer. As I said, we've pushed it all the way up to a 50K offer. We've sold ascending people from a lower ticket to a higher ticket, bunch of stuff. We've done a bunch of crazy shit. Like the 50K deals were with a 2-page PDF. Like short, this one's like 11, it was 2 pages. And the last couple of years for me have been a lot about experimentation and really developing this wide skill set in, well, how do you package up knowledge for coaches and consultants and monetize it heavily, right? If you want to go deeper into kind of my timeline and what I've done and who I help and what we're doing right now, go look at the main video on my channel. It talks about how I've sold over $4 million in coaching, and it shares with you the new plan that I'm implementing in my own business to scale up to 200K plus per month. And it talks about how we can potentially work together. It's a full breakdown of my inner circle, which is my main flagship coaching offer. As we sit here today, the 27th of October, it's a $9,600 offer if you pay in full, or it's $12K if you want to split it up, just for full context and transparency as you go through that video. Okay, so that's where we're at now, is we've just kept pushing the limits of this completely different way. And it's so funny to me because the whole industry is just preaching the same approach of, well, you got to pack out your calendar if you want to make bank as a coach. And it's just not true. Okay, so what I want to talk to you now about is these 2 points here of how is this possible and what do most people not understand. All right, so to do that, I want to pull up this model, which some of you may be familiar with. I mentioned before, we've got those 2 other videos where I break down the offer and I break down the content. Okay, that in itself is a massive lesson 99% of the industry is missing out on, right? I literally just got home from filming a podcast with a dude on the Gold Coast here who runs a PR agency, and we were talking about this on the podcast. It's so funny to me because you've got this whole industry out there preaching leverage. They've heard someone say it and they're like leverage. And yet the entire industry is sales driven. Okay, let me explain what I mean by this. In a coaching business, you've got 3 main aspects. You've got a main offer that you're trying to sell. You've got a sales process, and then you've got an audience / traffic / people, right, that you want to sell to, right? There are 3 common elements: a thing you want to sell, a sales process to sell it, people to sell it to, right? We can universally agree on that. 99% of the industry is going light on the content, and that's how we communicate with the people that we want to sell to. And they're quickly slapping together a shitty offer. It's not different. It's not packaged up in any special way. There's no thought put into the de-risking mechanisms. It's just like whatever. And what that leaves is the how they sell it, aka the sales process. And so if you imagine with me for a second that in order for someone to purchase, all of those 3 elements need to add up to 100. Okay? And we can choose how we want to weight our business. If you put 5% on the content and 5% on the offer, that means that sales process has to do 90% of the heavy lifting in order to land that sale. And that's fine, and that works. But you are literally putting all of the weight on the piece that is dependent on you, or hiring lots of people to pound the pavement one by one, to book calls and to have calls. And like, I'm not saying that doesn't work. I just didn't want to build my business that way. And so here's how this model flips that approach on its head. It pulls all the weight, not all of it, it pulls a significant percentage of the weight off the sales process and redistributes it to the offer and to the marketing / the audience, the ecosystem building, right? Which we're going to talk about in a second. And so what that means is that you can channel and capture your energy by making a badass offer and creating a badass ecosystem that do the majority of the heavy lifting. And that's how you lighten the load on the sales process. That is how you can eliminate the need for a call, because the offer is tight, the messaging is very specific, and you've got an ecosystem that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and pre-sells like crazy. So that when people come to you, or even if you go to them, they know who you are, they know what you do, they know the people that you've helped, they know the outcomes that you achieve with your clients, all this kind of stuff, because it's been put out here. They know what your program's called, they know the price of your program, they know what's included, they know what's not included, they know the duration, they know all that shit. It's all put on the front end and it's dialed. And when you do it that way, it makes the sales process a lot simpler, a lot more compact, a lot more efficient, because we're letting the other components of the business do a lot of the heavy lifting. Okay. Hopefully for a few people, this is setting off some big light bulbs, right? Most people do not understand this. And when you do understand this and when you execute on it, this is how results like this are possible. Okay. It took me a while to figure out what the fuck was going on when this happened. I was like, holy shit, how is this possible? Because I was ingrained in that way of thinking too. I was like deep in the matrix of like, well, you got to book, fill up your calendar, or, you know, oh, I can't do this for anything over a couple of grand. Not the reality. And that's how you do it. Okay. So taking this one step further, right? We're looking at this model, right, which some of you may have seen me bring up before. But this is what we build out with our clients in order to make this possible. Okay, so I want to quickly rip through this. If you want a deeper dive on it, go to that main video on my channel. But I want to take this conversation one step further, because hopefully I've just set up a few light bulbs for people about where this whole concept and idea of being able to eliminate calls is really, really born out of. Okay, so this is the model that we work on with our clients, right? For now, let's ignore this kind of post-funnel delivery piece. We may touch on it, but we've got top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. All right, the bottom of funnel is where we convert, is where we have the quick DM chat. We can deploy a DM manager if we want, and they can take control of things. And we literally send over a document that's going to be anywhere from like 6 to 11 pages long. It presents the offer, and we get paid, right? And then we're into the delivery. Okay, and so how we set up that offer, which I'm not going to go deep on in this video, but I personally help all my clients craft and construct their offer and build that offer asset, which is really critical to this process here. How we structure that up is really, really critical. And then the other side of the equation is the audience, is the getting and the nurturing of attention, right? And so here's how we do this, is through the top and the middle of the funnel, all right? And this is critical. If you fuck this up, it will not work. I've seen people, they take the documents, they'll try funnel hack me, they'll get an example and it'll be for like a 10K, and then I've seen it. They go and try and copy and paste my content and they try to send it out, and it just doesn't work because you're missing the entire point. It needs to be a whole ecosystem that's set up correctly. Your messaging from the very beginning when you're generating the traffic has to be on point. The nurturing in the middle of the funnel, the content has to be created with intention and has to be engineered to feed the right people in the right headspace at the right time into this, so that you can close these big deals without the need for calls. Okay, so two things I want to touch on really quickly. With the top of the funnel, with the traffic generation, we don't want to spend a lot of time here day in and day out, right? Initially, when we set it up, sure, maybe a little bit of maintenance each day. We use a combination of paid and organic. Every one of the strategies that we deploy for traffic, it's about either automating it or outsourcing it, right? So for example, my Facebook profile growth is outsourced to my VA. YouTube is outsourced to my editors, plus we're currently exploring some new cold traffic strategies which are automated. Set them up, eyeballs come in. Instagram, I don't do a lot organically, but the growth is automated through ads. Other people's platforms send me traffic because I've got an automated process set up to book me on podcasts. I just show up and then that podcast sits in their ecosystem and sends me traffic every day. And then word of mouth is automated because we do an awesome ass job with our clients, and then they compound and feed us back this way. So the top of the funnel, the growth, the cold traffic, the width, new people finding you every day should be automated and outsourced as much as possible. And these can all be set up very, 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 very quickly, right? Like we could have this set up within the first few days to week, and you can have diversified lead flow, automated, rocking and rolling. Now it's just about a little bit of maintenance each day. Make sure that obviously you've got to create the YouTube content. You've got to check on your ads. You've got to make sure the people that are doing the work for you are doing it correctly. And if you want to tweak it up or you want to go down a specific path with it, you can, give them kind of feedback in real time. So it takes a little bit of maintenance, showing up here to do the presentations to other people's audiences, all that kind of jazz. But it's about putting that energy in and capturing it so that it works for you day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, right? And so if we pause for a second there, we've now freed up a shitload of time here because it's automated and outsourced. We've freed up a shitload of time here because this is now no longer doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I can tell you without going deep into it that your post funnel, your delivery is like being on a different fucking planet, because you're only selling to people who are so heavily nurtured and ready to go and 1,000% all in, not this like hardcore sales arm twisting bullshit, which leads to a highly strained and highly stressful post funnel where your delivery is like, oh my God, my salesperson told them all this crazy shit that now I've got to deliver on, right? And I don't want to go too deep into this because it's not the topic of this video, but all of that drives retention, which drives your MRR and also drives compounding, right? Like if you want amazing retention, I have clients that have been with me for years. If you want amazing retention, it starts with how you sell, because how the relationship starts dictates how it's going to continue. And so we want it to start on the right foot at the right time by not selling to people who aren't ready, right? Because it's a recipe for disaster. You might make a buck now, but you're limiting it, right? Like I said, I've got clients who paid me thousands of dollars for years and years on end, right? Same with compounding. If the relationship starts on the wrong foot, you can say goodbye to word of mouth, right? You can say goodbye to word of mouth. All right, so it drastically reduces your time here and just makes this way more fun and way more enjoyable. Plus, you've got way more time to do this anyway because you've just freed up all this extra time. And so where does that leave us? That leaves us with the middle of funnel. And I want to bring back the word leverage before. This is how we do our selling, is in the middle of the funnel. YouTube is a huge aspect of it. You might look at my channel and go, it's small, generated so much money. It's actually ridiculous. All of my amazing clients binge my YouTube channel and then we work together. The people who binge buy, remember that. Okay. And that's just one mechanism, but it's a big one, right? Another middle of funnel is email, right? They're already in your world. A lot of that's repurposed social content from over here, but we teach our clients how to write banger social media content that nurtures the middle of the funnel. We've also got some cool shit that we do with paid products, but the easiest one is YouTube, right? Create deep middle of funnel content that pushes people to your main flagship offer. And this is true leverage. Yeah, you can pick up a bit of leverage if you hire a bunch of people, but that's not my jam. I wanted like true leverage. True leverage is here, where I can film a video, lots of people can see it, and it hits. Like it fucking hits people between the eyes. And they see this, and they're like, I want that. I want that type of business. I want that model, right? I want to close deals without having to do calls. I want my clients to stay with me for years. I want MRR. I want 10, 20, 30 grand locked in day one of each month. I want my business costs covered. I want my personal costs covered before the month even starts. I want my business to compound month on month. I want one client to turn into two without me having to do anything because my clients are happy to refer me. I want eyeballs, new eyeballs every day automated without me thinking about it so that I can spend my time here and here. That, in a nutshell, is how this is possible. That's the shift that you have to make from a sales-focused business to a truly leveraged, automated and outsourced, deep middle of funnel. And then I explain to you how that all feeds a better post-funnel delivery piece. So that was how it was all born. That's how it's flowed into what we do now. And a bunch of resources for you to go sink your teeth into afterwards, which I'll get the team to link below. So you can see this doc, you can see the posts, you can go dissect it. Like I said, people have tried to go and just like copy and paste it, but it's a full, you got to build this. You got to build this properly. And that's what I work with my clients on personally, because I've actually got time to work with my clients because we do this and my calendar's not full with sales calls, right? Or managing a big ass team. I had one call today. I had a mastermind call, a group that I'm part of with people who are all, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Woke up, had my coffee, hung out on that. Rest of the day's been clear. Went and recorded a podcast, hung with the family a little bit, going out for dinner tonight, and cash come in from sales. That's how we do it. Not pounding the phones all day. Investing in building true leverage. Okay. So that's the backstory. That's how we got where we are. If that's of interest to you, check out that main video on the channel. You can go watch those other videos that I mentioned. But that's how we do things. And I'm excited to keep going deeper with this on the channel with you. And I'll talk to you all in the next video. Cheers.